Hello everyone, and today we are here to talk about spooky Halloween. And to celebrate it, I'm gonna talk about 10 my most favorite, top favorite Russian patterns about fall or Halloween. Unfortunately, Halloween isn't so popular in Russia. It's not our traditional festivity. So of course, like restaurants and international schools or malls, they use this aesthetics to attract more people. But so far, we don't celebrate it in a usual sense. That's why not many people are interested in stitching Halloween, especially for spookiness or scariness or like pumpkin involvedness. That's why I still want to start my top 10 Halloween patterns with just a few, couple, about fall in random. Because for me, fall is kind of double-sided time of the year. At first, of course, it's awesome time because it's not hot anymore as in summer. Plus, we've got amazing colors the colors of trees and grass and pumpkins and we've got a monster here. Rawr. Say rawr. Say rawr. Huh? Sneeze. Phew. So she has a little problem with her nose, but this cannot explain why you can't sit by yourself, why you cannot sit by yourself on that chair over there. I put it there right for you. Why can't you sit there? Why can't you sit there? Why do you want to sit here? But we have our own gremlin here today. So of course every witch should have their talisman. You will be my talisman. Then we will go and kidnap a child and eat him together. So first, I'm gonna open my top 10 Halloween patterns with an amazing fall colored one. Let me show you the fall girl. As I said, the fall for me is a double-sided time of the year. At first, of course, it's awesome colors and not so hot time when you can wear scarves and sit with your hot cocoa or chocolate at home and enjoy cuddling time. But at the same time, the weather gets bad and more rain, more gray colors around and everything. So even though there are a lot of patterns about just sitting next to the window with your cup of cocoa in a warm blanket, these types don't inspire me so much. They are showing me my everyday life. So I'm like, ew, I don't want to stitch. Yeah, they're cozy, but at the same time they're boring. Boring. So this one is totally different. So when I saw it, it was like my number one. And even though I'm doing this about Halloween, I just had to show this to you. I had to show this to you because for me, this is number one. It is so different. It is fall. It is fall colored and everything. Because in the background, I have a pattern over there. So I look at it and so I have something to describe to it, not just in my head. In the background, of course, you see this brown and orange and yellow trees, and you understand it's fall, but at the same time, it's so bright and colorful, and all the green grass and the blue sky, and we can understand that it's not so cold because the girl is just wearing a very simple dress, and it kind of reminds me of the Belle from the Beauty and the Beast because she had the same style of the dress, so maybe it's like medieval France or something. But also the leaves and the apple tree, it's not actually fall theme because I would say fall is more pumpkins, but apples are too. So it's kind of different from everything else I've seen so far about the fall, but at the same time it gives me the most inspiration. It gives me the most desire to stitch it. It's like a vitamin. Because in fall we lose vitamins, we don't eat so many fresh things anymore, and we need some supplements to stay vigilant and active and things like that. So for me, this can be a big stitchy vitamin, a big stitchy supplement, because when everything is like gray and chilly and wet outside, we can just stitch this and feel a little breeze, feel this feel, the smells, the touch and feeling. I think everyone will agree this is one of the best patterns I've seen, like maybe this year. I will include the links to all the patterns in the description box. I will find either the links to the Instagram, or if I cannot, I will find their link in Vkontakte or Facebook. So we will see. But anyway, if you see that you cannot find this pattern where I provided the link, you can always just text me and contact me, and I will be trying to help you as much as I can to purchase one of the patterns. So this is the second pattern is more like an original fall pattern because it has pumpkins, so it's kind of, you can count as a Halloweenish one, though it's not scary at all. So this is a pattern by Polina Tarusova, and she has a lot of actual patterns in this like style. I'm not sure, maybe she's drawing them and then she's making her own like art into the patterns, because I know that her whole like design collection consists of the patterns of the similar style of drawings. And she has amazing like number of animals and wreaths, and just all of them are so cute. I would totally put them on clothes or jackets and things like this. But this one caught my eye because I can see this on plastic. If I can stitch maybe 1 or 2 cars and a doggy on plastic, that would be such an amazing like standing decor for the design. Like just put a car here, a car there, and it's not just normal pumpkins or something, but it's like a car bringing you some pumpkins. It could stay there the whole time, not only for Halloween, but the whole like fall time and things like that, but the whole fall time. So, and the colors are amazing. It doesn't only give you like some old rustic car. No, they are bright and colorful, and I think they will be an amazing for stitching on plastic. Plus, I know that Polina Tarusova's designs, patterns are quite easy to stitch. They are not difficult at all, and have some backstitch, but not much. So if you have never tried Russian designs, but you would like to, I would like encourage you or advise you to start from something like this. Like, she will be a very easy stitch. She as a designer has a very easy style of stitching. Yes, she has bigger works like some houses. That would be a bigger project, but some of the small ones are so easy. So if you've never tried and you're kind of scared, like blends and backstitch and things like that, you can try her. Her patterns are very easy. I would recommend. The next designer I want to talk about is Maria Brovko, and I think you heard about her from me like 1,000 times. First of all, I've stitched her works a lot. Second of all, like almost in every top like 5 or 10 patterns of Russian designers that I show on my channel, I always mention her. Always mention her because I just love her patterns. Yeah, they can be a little too difficult. They're not as easy, for example, as the designer before her, but at the same time, she has the designs on all kinds of themes, so it's very easy to find something for yourself. And just one of the examples is that she has a hobbit door design in many different types. Like she has in winter, in spring, and this one is in fall, which is so cute. I think this one is my favorite. That's why it's like in my top 10 Halloween patterns, because I really want to stitch it. I really want to stitch it like this year or maybe next year at least. But I really like her design. I really like her work and her color choice. This is like vitamin for the fall number 2. Like others are okay, but if you stitch this one, even on the gloomiest day, with the worst mood ever, you can't just not feel this lift of the mood, because these colors will definitely help you. So if you have some kind of depression, I would recommend. Though I don't know, don't listen to me. I don't know if like stitching helps from the depression, but usually when I have some down mood or something, stitching like colorful things or like different colors really help me. So that's the project. But today I don't want to talk about Hobbit one. Today I want to talk about her like fall sampler. It's by sampler in Russia we call just number of things together. All the things that connected by one thing on one project. That's a sampler. And so here we can see like many different things that associate with coziness or with comfort. It's like some fruits and leaves, maybe something about walking in the park when you go. I remember like going with my mom and friends, and every time we go to the park or to the forest, we would collect some beautiful leaves or colorful ones or some nuts and shells and berries, usually like for school or for some decor or just for fun, you know, to see what can anyone find. So also it has some hot tea, lemon tea. I love it. And this like rocking chair with some blankets. It's amazing. It gives this coziness vibes, like sitting on a porch with a nice weather, like rocking and drinking your tea, and maybe some leaves are flowing away. Just amazing. But for me personally, I would not stitch it as a whole like picture and just put it in a frame, though like this it will look amazing as well. I would stitch maybe it on plastic and separate elements, because all of them are quite small, and each and every one of them has is a complete design. So maybe just the apples, leaves, and the cup of tea, and make some amazing magnets, like fall magnets, because I don't think we have some really good variety of like cross-stitch magnet material. I don't know, but I haven't seen I see a lot of standalones, like you can take basically any small and make a magnet, but if it's a series of things, you can't really find a lot of things. Usually it's like different seasons or different animals or things like that. So just breaking the big sampler into smaller things, that's the thing I like. And I would totally do it. And just decorating like half of the fridge and all of them, it will be such an amazing thing. Or you can make a garland with them, which is my another idea, is like putting all of them, you know, like on a rope or on a string together. Plus, if someone has a Halloween tree, why not to put them there? Oh, yeah, they are not especially Halloweeny or scary, but they're fall connected, and plus no one said Halloween tree should only be spooky. It could be as diverse as you want, right? So I just don't think it will look good on a Christmas tree, but you can change my mind. So now let's start the real Halloween thing. And the first designer I would like to introduce to you is a very, very cute one. I've already stitched a little small by this designer. The name is Lucien Tignevel. It's like, what? It's also difficult for me to pronounce, so don't worry about it. Before I stitched a little raven on a pumpkin by her, and it was a real small, so it's like 30 by 60 or by 50, so it's a tiny fragment. And I remember I stitched this as a part of round robin, where you stitch like a piece and send it to another person stitched her piece and send it to another person. And at one time we did it with my friends from Russia, and basically we stitched like 12 different people stitched little smalls. Like there were no rules how you choose your small, like not one theme or something, but they should be like smaller size, because the piece of fabric was the rule. You have to fit everyone there. this was my part of round robin, and this is how I found this designer. And since then, I really like her. She has so many cute little things to stitch. But today I want to talk to you about the bigger one. This is 67 by 71 stitches, so it's not that big. It's a little bigger than I stitched before, but it doesn't even have 100. And this is so really beautiful. It's not spooky, but it's something witchy and magic, and just by looking at it, you want to hear the story of this crow, because she definitely has something to say. Like, her witchy hat tells you maybe it's not a real crow, maybe it's just like a witch, a were-crow, were-crow. We have werewolf, maybe it's a were-crow, or she's a like witch that turned herself or was cursed or something like that. So plus it has some really cute flowers there, like these pink flowers. They kind of remind me of Sailor Moon, like the flowers they had and the moon. I don't know, I just had this feelings when I see the design, and all these different thoughts make the design more desirable for me. She has some mischief in her eye, right? It's like so that's why I really want to stitch her. And as I see her, it would definitely be a circle of like framing. Either it's I can just stitch her in a hoop and leave her in the hoop, maybe decorate the hoop with something like fuzzy or pinkish or purple, or make a dream catcher from her, because lately it's been popular to make like a circle design, and around this design to make a real dream catcher with the feathers, and if to use like some purplish or black feathers like from the crow, it will look like it's her feathers. It will be amazing. Plus we can play with the background. It's so easy here. Like, you can try from blacks and dark blues to light pinks and whites and purples and why not. So even if you don't have like black and purple feathers, you can just choose whatever you have, or whichever will go better with your decor. So if you want to steal the idea of the design or steal the ideas of FFOing, please do it, because I don't know how long it will take me to do it, how long I have to wait before I will start all of this, because all these 10 patterns, I want to start them. Some of them I already have, some of them I still need to buy, but most of them I want to stitch now, and I already have so many. Woo. And the next design is a freebie from Anastasia Usova. So she's also Anastasia. My twinsy. Just look at it. It's such a cute scarecrow and a tiny ghost and lots of pumpkins. First of all, can I tell you, like, I really appreciate the designers that make their freebies the same level of effort and the same level of difficulty, the same level of everything as their real not free designs. Because sometimes some designers don't pay too much attention to their freebies. It's a free one, he will not be making money of it. I'm not talking about everyone, but there are some. And I know we all met one of those designers that when you make the big design, you will put so much effort in it, so much attention to the detail and everything. But when you make a freebie, just to like say thank you to everyone, but at the same time you don't need to do it so diligently. So usually it's like this level of freebies, this level of real designs. So you have to like buy a real design from a designer just to see if you can stitch it or you will like it, or because by looking at the picture, we like the picture, but sometimes it's too difficult, or something in the way the designer makes the pattern, you don't like it, or it just doesn't sit right with you. As an example, I can say like Maria Brovko. Maria Brovko designs are quite difficult, but her freebies are at the same level. Yes, they're smaller, but basically the same level of difficulty. They also have a lot of colors, they also have a lot of backstitch. So even by stitching one of the freebies for Maria Brovko, you will see like, oh, maybe this designer will be too difficult for me because, of course, bigger designs means more difficult for you, but it's not this big level. It will be like just bigger. That's why it's more difficult. Like smaller design you can stitch faster and you will not feel so overwhelmed, right? That's why I like Night Spirit Studio designs also, because she gives you a real size nice freebie. This is a freebie, but it's big, and you can actually feel her like ways of her patterns, because she has a lot of patterns that are stitched the same way, like her tarot cards and skeletons and other things like that, which you will like just by looking at a freebie. You're like, oh, I can stitch this, I enjoy this. That means I will enjoy her other designs, and I can like give my money to this designer and show them that I really appreciate their works. Another example is that right now I'm stitching a pumpkin wreath from Russian designer Pasha Volk. I'm lucky that I didn't pay for that, because this is like a modal stitch, so I have to finish it because they give it to me for free. So I have to finish it, but I don't like stitching it. It's so much confetti and so much color changes, which I actually think unnecessary. Because I have stitched something similar, like design style, it could be so much easier. You don't need to overcomplicate your designs to reach some realistic effect. It doesn't look that realistic. But I'm just saying, like all of this to say that I really appreciate the designers who pay attention to their freebies. And this is one of the freebies that I really want to stitch, because I love the designs, but Anastasia also a lot. But as always, before I start to stitch something by a new designer, I tried at least one of their freebies, only if I don't see like, oh, this is so easy, of course I can stitch it. If it's like, give me doubt, I will stitch one of their freebies to see. So, and just looking at this freebie, the cuteness, the level of like detail, the color scheme, everything, I'm in love. So after I finish this one, I think I want to buy at least half of her designs and stitch them all, because they are amazing. And of course, we cannot talk about Halloween without mentioning one of the Russian designers that every year celebrates Halloween. Every year she makes sales about like her Halloween patterns, or she actually has a lot of stuff to show. But most of her things are like fandom centered, so they are about cartoons, movies, Disney, and if you don't know her, you should really go and check her out. She has amazing patterns. I'm talking about Nadezhda Grigorieva from Mandarin's Designs. And the one that I love and I want to stitch is Jack Skellington. Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas. And I mean, I love that movie. I love Tim Burton's works. His movies and animations and things like that are genius. Just the way he turns the whole movie. I can talk ages about it, but let's just say I love him. So when I see her pattern, I'm like, oh, that one I want to stitch. But I'm not sure about the background. The background on her designs are usually done with half stitch or full cross, like you can choose. But for full cross, it's a little too much to stitch, and for a half stitch, it will not give like this good color variation, because the back of the fabric will be see-through still. So it's kind of like either, as for me, I would prefer to stitch all around him in these colors like yellow, greens and blues to make this night sky all over his head and all over around him, but that's like too much work. Or another thing is I would definitely change the fabric from this like beige one, because you can't really see his face on a beige one. His side of the face just blurs onto some really colored one, because he's black and white And if the fabric is very colorful and maybe with some variegation, that would only complement him. So this is one of the designs where you can play with fabric. And you know me, I love colored fabric. Like, I love coloring it myself, or I love buying the colored fabric or hand-dyed fabric, or I love just choosing from solid colors but using them with crazy in crazy places. So that's why, like, here definitely a hand-dyed fabric in some magic, or like a dark cosmos or something like that. Maybe I could stitch the stars all around him, but the fabric should be fabulous. One more thing that I already have, but I still need to get to it and stitch it, is the Halloween by Nadezhda Nagornaya. Actually, in my rotation right now, I already have one project by her, and I tend to have only like one project from one designer at a time. That's why it's on hold. If it wasn't like that, I would totally stitch pumpkins. But I think last year the Christmas dogs win. Exactly. Christmas dogs from Nadezhda Nagornaya, I'm stitching them right now. So I kind of like see the resemblance in technique. Yeah, they're very different designs. That one is like an image, and this is just, let's say, no background, no, not much detail. Though these little pumpkins are very, very heavy on detail, and their faces are all different, and their buckets like are all different and everything. But there won't be like so many little things. So I don't think the color list, the thread list, will be so long as in the Christmas dogs. Plus, if you don't want to frame it like that, you can take off the word Halloween and just frame it as a like rectangle. Still good. Or it can make a really good drum. So it could be like a drum, maybe tall one. Depends on what count you're stitching it on. If it's like 32 count, which I will not recommend for Nadezhda Nagornaya, her patterns are heavy on quarter stitches and blends. So on 32 count, it will be a little difficult. 28 count is the best. So it would be make a nice drum, and maybe on top, it could be a Halloween. And actually the drums should not be all circle, right? So we can make like a oval drum, because the Halloween is kind of long word, but at the same time it fits in the middle of the drum. That's a very good idea on finishing this. So myself, I think I will stitch it separately, the word Halloween and the pumpkins, and then I will make a like oval drum from them. That would be so cool. I just got this idea right now, thank you! One more designer that I mention here on my channel like a lot, and I show her patterns a lot because I stitch them a lot, is Victoria Dzhukaeva, or Makaronka stitch. And so today I'm gonna show her pattern Fox Wizard or Magic Fox, or I don't know how to translate it, Fox Wizard maybe. But basically I don't see it as a male fox wizard. In Russian the name implies that it's a male fox, but I actually see her as a witch. So she's a girl, because I think her tail and her fur and the little face are so feminine. Also, this is one of the designs where their pumpkins aren't all like round and orange. There is a greenish and greenish one. So this is also what catches my eye. Different pumpkins with different style are always a yes. If I see some blue pumpkin or something like unusual, not just like orange circle, nice, then I'm definitely gonna stitch it. And one more thing I love about it is the moon. It's like some kind of anime style, some cartoon, but it's so cool. It's like a realistic piece of stone in the sky. Amazing. One of the things I would change is I will not stitch the half stitch in the background. I know it adds the shading, it adds the volume, but I would just choose a different color of background. So I'm not a fan of a lot of half stitches in the back just for shade. Usually I just take them off. So that's the one thing I would definitely do. All the rest, the blends and the back stitch and everything else is like yes, 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 because Vika Jukaeva is a genius, and her patterns should be stitched like that as they are, because they are so good. The result will be amazing. Yes, it's not the easiest thing you can may find among the Russian designers, but it's definitely not a like super difficult. I think she and Maria Brovko probably on the same level of difficulty. So the difficult ones I will not recommend. So if for me they will be difficult, or I think this designer is not doing such a good job as making their patterns or something, I will not recommend. I will not show it in my tops of Russian designs that I love, because if I don't want to stitch it, why would I show it? So that's why if I show it, I'm confident that anyone would really enjoy this. Come on. You came over? Come. My little gremlin, come over. Okay, so what is the next one? You want to show us? No? You don't want to show us? You just want to hide on me? Sit on me like this? Why? My banana girl. She doesn't have a costume. I need to make her a costume, but she doesn't have one. Because she's a little sick. So we don't want to violate her by making her costumes. Yeah? A little sick baby? You want to sit with me all the time? Yeah? And you want to sneeze on me. Thank you. You came over to sneeze on me. Nice. I'm not gonna comment on that. If I do, it will be another hour rant about her sneezing on me. So next designer I want to show you is Alissa Agnes, and she has a number of patterns based on illustrations by the Irene Horrors. Irene Horrors, she's redoing normal fairy tale styles into really horror ones. So there is Alice in Wonderland and Beauty and the Beast and the Winter Queen, the Ice Queen, things like that. And they're all really creepy, really bloody, and really gore. So they are really scary. So I'm not gonna show here the scariest ones, but one of the my favorite ones. Yeah, I kind of like scary things. I love horror movies, and of course I love really scary patterns. So I don't know if I would frame them and show them around, because I don't think they will complement my style of the apartment or the design or anything. These look well here just because they're next to my place, but I don't want to make it a corner of horrors. But if I have a friend that will enjoy horror movies or horror things, I would definitely stitch something really horror and give it to them, so they have some piece of horror at their home. But this one I would definitely just stitch just to feel it, just to have it, and maybe just keep it in the drawer. Why not? I don't feel bad about stitching things and not FFOing them. I don't feel bad about stitching things and just keeping them in my never FFO'd pile. They can stay there forever. I love projects when I stitch them in the process. So I would like to stitch this one, and the future will show me if I will ever use it. One of the things that I think will be difficult about this project is that it's highly, I wouldn't say difficult, but it's very monochromous. It doesn't have a lot of colors. It's all grays and beige and browns. So I don't think I can stitch it in fall time or Christmas or winter time, because usually I really need something colorful and more happy. Maybe next spring or next summer, that would be a perfect time for this type of design, because outside is everything yellow and brilliant and colorful and flowery. So I could stitch this and but it's just my feelings, you know. I cannot stitch something cold or grayish in winter or in fall, because it just affects my mood. It affects my mood and I'm feeling down. If I'm feeling down, I need something very colorful. Another thing about this design is that it has so much backstitch. I have seen a lot of her designs stitched on one of the Russian floss tubers, not floss tubers, but you understand, like Russians who are making videos. She shows a lot of patterns by Alissa Agnes, the same style, and she says they're easy to stitch. They're easy to stitch, but they're backstitch. The backstitch takes a long time because it's very detailed and there is like a ton of this. At the same time, you cannot omit it. Like, you cannot make it easier for yourself because it just complements it so well. Like, it's not the designer's fault to include too much backstitch, because we always say, like, the real good designer doesn't need a backstitch. You can do a real good thing without even a backstitch. Yeah, it will be maybe bigger or less detailed, but it can still not have any backstitch and it will be amazing. But this type of like drawing art, the artist, it's himself, uses a lot of like liners, and that's why in the patterns, when the designer changes the art into a pattern for cross stitch, she uses a lot of backstitch to just show the same type of art. So it's not her fault. She didn't choose it like, oh, I want to make cross stitcher's life unbearable. No, actually her backstitch is very easy to stitch. I don't know how she's doing it, but she's a genius and all the backstitch is counted. So that's why, even though it's like full of it, it shouldn't be too much. And for me, I like backstitch. Like, I would put on a nice series and just watch something and forget all about the backstitch. And then I'll be like waking up every time I need to change the episode, like, oh, the whole thing is done. Nice. And the last design I want to show you, and maybe for some of you it will be surprised when I say this is like all Russian designers, because a lot of you may know Mama Witch Cross Stitch and her designs, and she has an Instagram page and it's in English, and she's been pretty famous lately with her possum pattern, because I don't remember who started it, but I would just randomly say Steel City Stitchers started a possum style, or they maybe they didn't start it, just take part in it, and then a lot of people I saw took part in it. So I'm not sure who started it, but I saw a lot of people stitching possums. That's why I know a lot of you know her. But did you know that she's also a Russian designer? Because we spoke Russian. Among her works, I think I like the pumpkin heads the most. It's like one of the things I love and I will definitely stitch if I see is a pumpkin head. If I see a pumpkin head, nice one, I'm like, yes, please, give me more. So if you've seen my previous video, if you don't, just go and watch it, where I show you all the designs that I've already stitched. You know that I've stitched the pumpkin heads by Teresa Kogut at the Halloween March. And this is like the same art style. It's cute, but it's creepy. But at the same time, it's so much easier. It's not like Teresa Kogut with her confetti and things. Yes, it has quite a number of flaws here and I would say colors, but at the same time it's quite easy, and I would say when it's that type of pattern that when you stitch it you find more and more details on it. It's like, yeah, when you see there's a pumpkin head, something fall and ghost, but then you stitch the moon and it's like, oh, the moon actually has a nose and a face. And then you stitch something and then it's like, oh, the pumpkin have faces, but the boy also has a skeleton cat. Oh, there is mushrooms, and there is mushroom on the side with the pumpkin, or is it a pumpkin? So basically every time you stitch some element, you will add detail and more and more. And I also love it because if you don't like something, it's so easy to not stitch it. Like if I don't like, for example, the skeleton cat, I can easily just remake it into a black cat by just using a different color or adding a couple of stitches to make it fatter. If I don't like the moon face, I can just omit and stitch over it. If I want to add a squirrel, I don't need just to stitch a couple of leaves and I can put a squirrel there. So it's such an easy, simplistic style of stitching when first you stitch and you find details and then you can add more to make it your own, personalized. This is what I love about her works. Mama Stitch cross stitch, Mama Witch cross stitch, because this is an amazing opportunity to show personalization. For example, if you want to gift her work to some, like her design to someone, you can actually stitch and add some initials or something for this person in the pattern and just gift it. And that would be such a cool thing. So thank you everyone who stayed with us through all the 10 patterns by Russian designers this time, and tell me which one would you stitch. And happy Halloween!